Valhalla Found. Written by Christopher Cartwright. Narrated by David Gilmore. Prologue. Atlantic Ocean, Newfoundland, 980 A.D. It was a good day to die. Ragnarok gripped the silver amulet depicting his gods and made a silent prayer to Thor and Odin. In his other hand his fingers clasped over the hilt of his sword, Gunnlogi, which meant battle flame. Holding so tight, the whites of his knuckles developed an angry glow like fire. If the gods had ordained this as the last day of his life, he wanted to be sure to fight his way to Valhalla, that majestic hall for those who died in combat, to feast alongside other legendary Viking heroes and kings. He grinned sardonically as he stared out at the darkened sky and the evil that approached from the distant horizon. A moment later, the wave crashed over the prow of Islandinger, his longship, little more than a toy in the tempestuous seas, sending a spray of salt water rushing across the open deck. The ship's prow rose out of the trough, and for a split second all that could be seen was the dark sky above. When the Viking ship righted again, they were greeted by a second wave. Ragnarok braced for the onslaught. A wall of water slammed into the hull with jarring ferocity. The force and momentum of the wave, undisturbed by the warship, kept going with the casual indifference of a master's boot upon a dead slave. The crest of the wave ripped across the deck, taking with it several of his crew, who disappeared overboard in the violent wake. A series of popping sounds echoed throughout the hull as more than a dozen planks of oak broke free of their caulking and began to splinter. The 16 rows of oars began to move in unison. It was a valiant display of defiance for the gods, who looked down upon their plight with cold disinterest, made by what remained of his crew. Ragnarok wiped away the saltwater spray from his eyes and saw that his ship was managing to crawl its way out of the turbid waters. For a few minutes the seas appeared to settle, and the longship built up.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?